So, for any venture to be productive, you need a plan. Today is March 2nd, and the first episode on my Becoming a Maths Genius and Still Loving the Process series. So, in this video, we are going to create a curriculum. Basically, we are going to try our best to provide me some structure so that I do not get confused or I do not get bent out. Anything to make the process a lot easier. So, first, to make this curriculum, I made a brain dump because I have actually studied maths before. I am a recent graduate from computer engineering, so I have had a lot of exposure to mathematics, but the experiences weren't really good. So I made a brain dump of all the things that I didn't like about my first approach. In fact, that's a mistake. I made a brain dump of all the things I did previously when I was studying maths, the methods I used, the mindsets I had at the time, and everything like that. So after making the brain dump, I just marked them as good or bad. The bad ones I'm not going to continue with, and the good ones I am going to stick to or add to my new plan. So some of the bad ones include my approach mentally to the subject of math itself. I realized at the point in time when I was studying in school, whenever a topic is introduced and I feel like the topic is too difficult, I go home, I try it 1 or 2 days, and when I see my friends have already grasped the topic and I am still struggling to get the topic. Normally I do not struggle to get stuff, so when I feel like it is becoming too much for me, I just stop. I do not continue, I do not try harder. That's one bad thing. Then after making the brain dump, I did some research. So I went on YouTube and I watched a couple of videos. I limited myself to only 4 videos because I know that I easily get influenced and overwhelmed if I have too much information. So I just stuck to 4 videos. I watched a short YouTube short. That was Dr. Justice Sang. You can check out his channel. He's a learning coach. He was discussing about how to best study maths, and he suggested, this is his suggestion that I'm going to take and try to practice, that we should, before you study maths, you should understand in words what you are learning and why you are learning it. From his observation, the way math is presented to majority of us students is that it is removed and then it's not really taught in a way that it is in relation to the real life application of the concept. So we normally learn the proofs, the problem sets and everything and the concepts of the maths, but we do not learn how it's applied in real life. It's not really like physics where you can tell, the relation of what you are studying to how it affects your life. Yeah. I also watched a video from the Math Sorcerer, and it was how to self-study math. He just gave tips on how he self-studies math, and so far it has worked for him. I picked up a few things from his video, but I don't really think I'll follow his method for the self-studying of math. But I watched another of his video where he outlines and he actually gives suggestions on textbooks to like self-study engineering, and he also has another one for just maths. They're like maths in general. If you want to learn maths from start to finish, you can check those 2 videos out. So I personally took the engineering maths video more seriously. 3. So the last video was thinking on paper, also by Dr. Justice Sang, and he basically outlines, it's basically a video about how to think while learning and how to approach the learning process. You can check that video also out. I think, in fact, just check Dr. Justice Sang out in general. He has very, very informative videos about learning and learning how to learn the entire process. So after doing my research, finding my resources, because in the research process I found the textbooks and some YouTube channels I'm probably going to use. So some textbooks I'm going to use are, in fact, most of the textbooks I'm going to use are in the Maths Sorceress video. I'll list them here. And the other resources, which are the YouTube channels I'm going to be watching. I'm going to be watching 3 Blue 1 Brown, the organic chemistry tutor, Professor Leonard, and any other channel. Actually, if I feel like there's something I do not get, I'll just type the topic in YouTube and find a video that explains it to me the best. There's this textbook I liked when I was in uni, and I just liked it because of the name of the book, and it is the New BS Guide to Maths and Physics. I'm adding that to the mix too. And in that book, there is a section where you are allowed to test yourself before you start, like actually studying from the book. And based on the results you get from those tests, the book suggests where to begin. There are like 5 chapters or 6 chapters in the book. Yeah. So I took the test in the No BS Guide. I've taken the test a couple of times, but I took it again to assess myself and see where I stand. You can also just use like AI and ask AI to generate a test to assess yourself to see where you currently stand in mathematics. So you can just start from where you feel like you are comfortable enough. I realized when I was still in school, I've actually tried to get better at math a couple of times. And from my previous attempts, when I start at a point where I am already familiar with the topic, I get bored because I already know everything. And then because I get bored from that point, I skip on to more complex topics, and I get discouraged because I do not understand what I'm reading. So I need to find the sweet spot in between the too easy and too hard and start from there. And I think the best way to do that is to assess yourself and get to know where you are currently standing. So I took the test in that book, and I also asked AI to give me an assessment test. And based on the results I got, my decision is to spend a couple of days studying algebra. Hear me out. So the first textbook in the Maths Sorceress video was Beginning and Intermediate Algebra. I'll just go through the topics in that textbook, and I'm just going to solve the problems. I'm not going to actually read too much. I'll probably read, if I'm going to do any further reading on algebra, it's going to be in my leisure, outside the time blocks I've scheduled for study. Then I'll move on to pre-calculus. Then from there, I move on to calculus, and then I build up from there. So the general idea is, my schedule is, every day I'm going to spend an hour. The beginning time is an hour. For now, I'm not going to burden myself so much. I feel like 30 minutes is too short to actually get into it and study maths. And 1 hour is the sweet spot. So I'm going to spend an hour in the morning every day to study the maths. It's going to be every day or every other day. So whenever I feel like I need a break, I am not going to spend more than 2 days off maths. I give myself a day to, relax and come back to it the next day so that I do not forget whatever I'm studying. And also, if I feel like, as I said earlier, if I feel like I am starting to hate or dread my maths sessions, I'm just going to pause, reassess, and realign my intentions, and also tell myself, like, reassess and realign my intentions and come back to studying the subject. So that's all for today. That's all for today's video, and I'll see you all in the next one. Have a nice day. Bye.